suspect 50 or 100 years from now, Dr. Mike Israetel's name will not be remembered much for much of anything at all. That's it. So, yeah. Listen, man, Dr. Mike Israetel, what are you thinking? Are you that desperate for views? Are you that desperate for more subscribers? I mean, I don't get it. I don't get it. A friend of mine this past week, about a week ago, sends me a video, and it's of Dr. Mike Israetel being interviewed by, I believe, it's a man named Johnny Shreve, IFBB pro bodybuilder at one point. And Johnny, to his credit, remained quiet for most of the video that I had seen and just let Dr. Mike go, because he was spewing out quite a bit of ridiculousness. And I don't know, man. I don't know. Anyway, this is a man who at one point in time I thought quite highly of, actually. I tend to see a lot of the best in people, to be honest with you. However, in this case, when they reveal themselves to, be of a certain ilk, then, you have no choice but to point out, hey, come on now. And so, anyway, let's do this. I'm going to run a few segments right here up on the screen from that interview and give you a little bit about what I think. The interesting part is that six-time Mr. Olympia, Dorian Yates, who I like very much, appreciate him for all of his training, all of his ideas on training, as well as seems like a fun character, to be honest with you. Dorian commented rather quickly on Dr. Mike and his opinion of Mike Mentzer. Dorian being a friend of Mike Mentzer's, just like myself. So yeah, there's a little bias in there. We're going to tell you that right out the gate. And Dorian obviously reacted that way. We'll get to that one in a moment. But Dorian's critique of Dr. Mike is probably going more viral, yeah, it is, than anything Dr. Mike actually said in his interviews. So there's that. But let's do this. Let's go into it, and I'll let you know what I think as we go. Yes, Mike Mentzer was a friend of mine, just like Dorian says in his part. Mike Mentzer was a friend of mine. He trained me. You're going to see as we go through this. You don't have to defend Mike Mentzer much in this. This man makes himself look so bad along the way that, it's not going to take much. So here we go. First segment, it's about 20 seconds long. So let's see what he has to say. Here we go.
So who am I compared to Mike Mentzer? Well, real talk, and this is me just being snooty, so I don't really mean all this. I mean in a factual sense, but I don't want to come off like a dick. I'm bigger and stronger than Mike Mentzer. That's it. Yeah. So all of a sudden, that changes the game. I'm more educated than Mike Mentzer. I know more things than Mike Mentzer. I'm bigger and stronger than Mike Mentzer.
Wow. Well, while you were at it, bigger, stronger, faster, Mike, Dr. Mike, why didn't you just say, with all due respect, Dr. Mike, why didn't you just say that you were also better looking than him too while you were at it? I mean, you had the floor, right? And it seemed as if you're just pretty much making things up out of thin air right there. Obviously, you didn't do your research. Mike Mentzer was known in his day for being an absolute crane. I mean, hauling up massive weights in every exercise that he did. So I don't know where you get the stronger part. His brother too, Ray, both of them, absolute units when it came to lifting heavy weight. Bigger? Whoa. Let me take a moment here. Bigger? In what universe? I mean, you do know, right? Have you looked at pictures of Mike Mentzer? That's it. I mean, I'll put one up here or two, whatever, but wow, just like Dorian said, we have to check your eyesight. I fear for your eyesight. Yes, And I question your motives in even saying these things, because you know that these were going to go public and people would, in fact, say, So here we go. Let's see what Dorian had to say about this, okay? Dorian had a fun take on this, and it's about 30 seconds long, so here we go.
Okay, I guess I'm Mike's friend. He's not here. So, Dr. Mike, first of all, I hope that you're being like tongue-in-cheek, kind of humorous. Otherwise, I fear either for your eyesight or your mental health. Because obviously, your physique's nowhere near Mike Mentzer, even with all the PhDs that you're taking, that you estimate will take 10 years off your life. Well, maybe you need to ask yourself whether it's worth it, mate, because a bag of shit that gets bigger is just a bigger bag of shit. Still a bag of shit. You know what I mean, mate?
Wow. So you could tell Dorian just wasn't having it. And for a guy that all through his bodybuilding career didn't say much, you know, Dorian's not that type. For him to even say anything at all about this does seem as if it was a pretty rude deal. And so Dorian had a very fun take on it right there. Concerned for your eyesight, Dr. Mike. I'd have to be too, to be honest with you. I am too. Because everyone watching this video, you're going to see pictures of Mike right here. And it's obvious that there must be something wrong with your eyes, right? So Dorian, fun take, very good. 6-time Mr. Olympia. And by the way, as I recall, Dr. Mike also critiqued Dorian's training at one point or another. And for the most part, you know, he acknowledged he was talking about a 6-time Mr. Olympia, so he didn't really bash him too much. He was somewhat positive in some ways. But the thing with Mike Mentzer is really ate away at people like Dr. Mike, who are current day evidence-based. Anyway, let's move on. Let's go on to this other segment. Dr. Mike seems to have a bunch of reasons why Mike Mentzer today in 2025 is popular. So let's just hear what he has to say on this segment. It's another 30, 40 seconds. Here we go.
The number one reason people are trying to get into Mike Mentzer bullshit is not that Mike Mentzer had a very convincing analysis of the bodybuilding process that was compelling and evidence-based, or even just based on heuristics that made sense. The reason that people getting into Mike Mentzer, as far as I can tell, is a few things. One, he had a cool mustache. Legitimately, I think people just into that 80s look. Two, it's like tough guy thing of going to failure. Like one fucking hard set. And it's simple. People like simple. People get anxious when they see complexity, and that's understandable. So they like simple and hardcore. I'm a man. I don't like to think a whole lot. I like to go.
Wow. And wow. Mustache? Porn mustache? What is that? Again, some observation. You mean you have a fascination with Mike's good looks or his whatever good-looking mustache, right? Most of us never thought of that, okay? I mean, in his day, I guess he was, you know, a decent-looking man and got some attention because of it. The mustache, I don't know. The tough guy thing. Now we're getting to the realm where Dr. Mike is no longer talking about Mike. He's actually moving on to all of us who were influenced by Mike Mentzer. All of us. Everyone from Dorian Yates to myself to all the high-intensity trainees out there and trainers. This right here he's hurling a big fat insult at everybody when he says this thing of tough guy image, and this, you know, I mean, I don't get that at all. If anything, you know, Dr. Mike, from what I understand, you know, you're the one who's out there doing interviews like this and has sort of a know-it-all mentality And on top of all of that, well, it would be too easy to hurl insults back at you, so I won't. I mean, you seem like somebody somewhere way back in time must have hurt you pretty bad, okay? And so that's all I can say about that. But the tough guy thing and the thing about us all liking to, grunt, and yeah, I grunt when I get really intense with the weights, and so do most of the people who work out that are really working out. And no, it's not something that attracted us to Mike Mentzer or heavy duty and his heavy duty training. I don't understand, where you're coming from with that one. Certainly, I'm not a tough guy. I don't go out there in public, threatening people or being a tough guy on people. Rather, I try to walk and talk with some level of grace and mercy on people's, situations. Anyway, wow, just wow, tough guy. And by the way, Mike Mentzer was never a tough guy himself, okay? He was a logical thinker. He was more of a scientist wrapped up in a scientist of the day, okay, before you go getting offended thinking that that Mike would never compare to you. But realize back in the 70s and in the early 80s that, and even into the 90s, that there were no big exercise scientists out there, big studies, let's say, on hypertrophy and training that Mike Mentzer could even rely on. Okay, there you go. He was sort of doing it on his own, sort of like a pioneer at the time, and also going against the dogma or the established way of training of the day. You can tell in my voice, I'm not, trying to jump all over you, Dr. Mike, or Dr. Mike, if you're not watching this. It's kind of sad in a way. That's why watching this, it took me about a week to decide to actually do something about this. Because I had to, at first, it was easy to be a little bit like this. And then, I just kind of forgot about it until I started seeing it pop up in my feed in YouTube and said, well, I do have to do something about this. Anyway, let's see what he also says. Dr. Mike goes on about all of us who train high intensity style. So here we go.
It's not the case for most people, but some people gravitate towards that philosophy because, like, real talk, they're just fucking lazy. One set a week of legs, that's all you do. But if Mike Mentzer said it worked, and he's 80s and hardcore and cool and was muscular and had an attitude and sort of sounded smart, then a lot of people are in.
Again, just lazy, everybody's lazy. A whole bunch of us out there have gone so much further than some of your most well-respected people. I've done videos on some of the biggest names in exercise science who have compared training to failure, which is involved in high-intensity training, versus, what's the terminology that all of y'all, you smart PhDs have coined in YouTube? Well, I guess you guys are more YouTubers than PhDs, right? That would be reps in reserve, right? Leaving some in the tank, right? So I've seen and actually laughed at some of the effort that some of the people out there have made and who called it training to failure. So yeah, I don't find the guys who train in high intensity fashion to be lazy in any way. If anything, there's more of a mentality of, one and done, that we'd rather give an all-out effort over a shorter term rather than a halfway, half-assed effort over the long term. Some long, drawn-out thing that we suspect does not bring great results to naturals, at least. There's that. Anyway, so lazy, Wow. Just keep on firing at all the rest of us besides Mike Mentzer with this, okay? And let's go on. I have a really good one right here, a nice little segment. It's going to be about 45 seconds long, and it does cover very important points, according to Dr. Mike Israetel. Very, very important points. So I want you to listen closely to this and see and hear the very important points that he brings up. So here we go now.
What I think about Mike Mentzer, I could very easily sum up, but it's the same summary I could have given you 20 years ago. And the crazy thing to me is, like, I saw a fucking reel on my YouTube shit. You know, YouTube does the fucking shorts. And it was like, Mike Mentzer's advice on diet. What? Motherfucker was around in 1982. I don't give a fuck what someone from 1982 said about diet. I'm sorry. Because what he said about diet was already absorbed and processed by everyone by 1988, by 1996, 2012. We're 2023 out in this motherfucker, man. Next you're gonna you tell me what Elvis ate for breakfast and how that's relevant. Who gives a flying fuck? And, like, you know, Mike Mentzer was impressive for his time, but he wasn't impressive in an absolute sense. Like, did he have some kind of insight that the rest of us didn't? I'll tell you right now, the answer is no. So when people are like, oh, what did Mike Mentzer like? What was his diet like? I'm like, why the fuck do you want to know? So I don't know what to tell you. So
Wow. How many times do you think Dr. Mike, as intelligent as he is and well-educated as he is, how many times in the course of those 45 seconds do you think he used an F-bomb? I'll give it to you. He averaged one every 7 seconds. Okay? 7 times in 45 seconds. So, you see me rolling my eyes a lot at this point in this video because, I mean, this subject matter is, I'm wrapping this up really soon, okay? The subject matter is getting boring. But the F-bombs, just constant. I find it to be the lowest form of communication other than physically going and fighting somebody. The moment you pull out F-bombs, sort of like you would use the word the in a sentence or in a paragraph even, okay? How many times do you see the word the in a paragraph? 45 seconds worth of talk out of his mouth right there. There's a line in the Bible that says, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks, okay? And when you hear a bunch of crap coming out of somebody's mouth, then you can suspect that their heart is full of crap. So, there's that. How many times do you use the F-bomb? Usually people do that when they have no intelligent argument whatsoever. So I do question your intelligence if you're going to go and bombs away like that in the course of 45 seconds. Referring back to Mike Mentzer's nutritional recommendations, okay? I've talked a lot about this in my videos. Y'all can go and check this out somewhere down on my channel. Go ahead and check that out, okay? But I'm not even going to go into the depth of what he's talking about because there was no depth in what he was talking about. It was just straight bombs away. And let me see if I could essentially hide behind the bombs away. And that's what he did. So when people don't really say much in the course of 45 seconds, they usually throw in a lot of F-bombs, curse words, to sort of be emphatic. But when you're emphasizing nothing, that's what you get. And so, anyway, how can we wrap this up? Okay. Oh, simple. Essentially, 50 years from now, 100 years from now, it's likely that whatever form of media exists, just like we just found out, right? YouTube didn't exist back in the 90s, 80s, 70s. Social media like today did not exist back then. And yet here we are discussing Mike Mentzer, his training, heavy-duty training, high-intensity training, his diet, all of that. It's been dissected by people just like Dr. Mike Israetel. Mike trained me. I do videos on that as well, okay? Am I a Mike Mentzer devotee, zealot, blind follower, all of y'all who have followed my channel know for a fact, no, I am not. Was Dorian? The answer is no, he is not. It's a fact. Many of you out there believe that, we're somewhat, I get this all the time, that I'm somewhat of a Benedict Arnold, that I'm jumping ship because I don't do exactly what Mike Mentzer said. And that's because I'm my own man, I'm my own thinker, and we are 25 years past his death at this point. And there has been some really good studies done, but more importantly, as a bodybuilder and as a trainer, empirically, okay, I've done the work on myself and others. And so it's quite different after you have that much experience. And I've now been doing this for 41 years. You see, I'm not a PhD. I don't have all of that book smart head knowledge that someone like a Dr. Mike has. I don't have the benefit of poring over all of these studies that are done day after day, because YouTube is not my full-time job. I have a day gig, and then I have YouTube. So someone like a Dr. Mike can go over all of these studies and find out the cutting edge information that's out there. And that's nice and great and all, but I would actually put out there that a lot of that causes one to overthink. A lot of it. And there you have it. So 50 years from now, 100 years from now, it's likely that we'll still hear, if you're around at that time, you'll still hear about Mike Mentzer. And even if not, they'll always be in the record books, in bodybuilding. They will always be his name and somewhat of a remembrance when it comes to his accomplishments. Not just on the stage, but also off the stage, because he affected generations of bodybuilders and how we all train. And therefore, some of us within those generations will likely also be around for the titles that we have won and for the things we have done, both on stage and off stage, and affected, hopefully, even further generations with the refining of high-intensity training as we go. However, I fear, if I could borrow the quote about fearing something, and I'm being facetious when I use that word, I fear, but let's say I suspect 50 or 100 years from now, Dr. Mike Israetel's name will not be remembered much for much of anything at all. That's it. So, yeah. Listen, before you go, off to my left is going to be this disc that pops up next to my head. That is the subscribe button for my channel. Please give that thing a tap. And then down below and off to your left, you're going to see a thumbs up button. Will you please tap that, change its color, actually hit it. Go ahead, take a moment. Boom, hit it. That's right. That lets the YouTube algorithm know how much you like my videos. It lights it up, lights me up too. I will see you in the next video. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you very much. Hit me down below with those comments you got, okay? You know I'm in that comment section for a little bit, and I'll actually answer some of those things. Go ahead. Here we go.